Hello, humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. So, this is a video that I want to make, and if you're a member, you got to see a preview of what I'm going to talk about here, guys. Because, after I did that first one, I really wanted to hone in on a couple of points that I actually missed. And this is one of them, right? The emotional support groups that are out there for the home arcade community called podcasts or, shows, whatever the hell they're called, right? Where full-grown adults sit around and try to, fix the arcade market. How could they improve this? How can they improve that? What would you do if you're a CEO? All this other stuff, which is meaningless, right? Meaningless. I can see doing these shows, back when Arcade 1-Up first came out. Everybody's getting all these views. Everybody's talking about it, right? But now, what do you have? You have stragglers. You guys, Johnny come latelys that want to get some sort of shine because nobody's talking about it anymore. At least not the big ones. There's a couple of them that still hang around. But, this doesn't deliver the bang for the buck that it used to, right? So these people are sitting around making podcast after, weekly podcast of what? The market is dead. It's dead, and they're putting out mediocre products. What the hell are you talking about? And then it's like, if you're going to make a difference. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not making a single bit of difference. Right? Because the only ones who can make a difference are the people putting out the money. And if they're losing money, guess what? There's no fix. Right? They need to make money to spend money. But if they're not making money, because these things aren't selling, what is it that you think that you're going to change? Who the hell is going to invest in that? Just probably idiots making more pre-orders. Pre-ordering a product with a company that has already proven to you that can't make a good product. Just wait for it to come out and fail and then get it half price. They'll make pretty good shells. Right? I can see buying it afterwards, when they're 50% off or something. And then you can use it to build whatever you want. But from the get-go? Come on. And then, these are the things that make normal people chuckle, right? And this is for those people out there, maybe you want to start a show off like this. The question that normal people have is, how are you sacrificing this much time? I caught the end of one of these shows, and the guy was saying, well, I'm on this show this day, and this day I'm on this show, and this day, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, these things are about an hour and a half. How much time are you wasting on this thing? And I know this guy's not making any money, right? So if you're a full-grown adult with family responsibilities, work responsibilities, right? How much time can you dedicate to nonsense, this type of nonsense, right? It's just an emotional support group to make you feel better about a product that is just underwhelming and mediocre at best. Who has that kind of time? I can't even go on my friend's podcast anymore because I don't have time with work and a baby and responsibilities. I can't. This stuff right here, guys, is expensive. Right? The games that I'm missing now from my collection that I really want, they're all expensive. Right? I have to, find some sort of trade-in or whatever I need to do in order to get those games that I really, really want. Right? But I have to go to work. Right? And I have to spend time with my wife. I have, normal guys that are in love with their wife like to spend a lot of time with their spouse. That's just the way it is. Right? We don't have, I don't have Saturday nights to dedicate to a live stream. That'd be insane. A Friday, any day of the week where it's, family time or where you have duties. How the hell are you going to do that? And then multiple days a week when you're not making any money. I can see if you're making a living at this. If you're having a nightly, stream and people are donating hundreds of dollars every night. Okay, well, I get it. Right? That is your life, right? But when you're not making anything, when, not thousands of people are watching, maybe hundreds are watching, right? So this is really not a money venture for you. What is it? What is it that these people seek? How bad does it have to be at home that you don't want to spend time with your spouse? And just, I have friends the same way that, their wives, something happened there, and they don't want to spend time with their wives, and I can see why. Visually, I can see why, right? But it can't be everybody's like that, How bad does life have to be? What about the other responsibilities? Right? I have grandkids. I take my grandkids out with me. We go to the video game store. We go to the Pokemon store. We go to a comic book store. So when is it that these people are having normal lives? Is it just YouTube? Are they don't really, in my opinion, right? These people are not really about the hobby anymore. They want to be YouTube personalities. They're addicted to being on YouTube, to anything. Because if you're spending, various hours a week on this, not only being on these shows, but actually watching everything else, what kind of life is this? It's almost like that. Just watching, if they had a reality show of that person's life, I'd rather watch that than any of these podcasts, right? Like, how bad does your life have to be outside the arcade space that you have this much time in your life dedicated? You have no career, you have no social life, you don't dedicate time for the grandkids. You're just on here. That's it. Jesus Christ, man, that's got to be some oddity. Like, I would sit down with my wife and watch that reality show, right? Because normal people, guys, we don't have that kind of time, right? And we notice this, right? And I'm telling you, for those of you who are thinking about and going something like this is what normal people thinking about. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? Doesn't he have grandkids? Doesn't he have, sons and daughters that he has to go visit to? Like, normal grandpa, I'm going to go visit my son. I'm going to go visit my... No, none of that. None of that. I got to talk about what John D's doing today. Right? I got to talk about the iconic arcade. I want to talk about Alice in Wonderland. I got to talk... And not only just a few comments. Like, I could see, okay, 10 minutes. What else are you going to talk about? Products are bad. They're not of quality, let's just say. To me, my opinion, right? Based on the complaints that customers have. Based on the complaints specifically of a YouTuber that had to buy his own and still doesn't work. And even though he's got the shill right next to him, they can't do jack squat for him. And these people think that they're going to sit in a podcast and they're going to turn the tides around. Well, John told me, you know what? I'm in the business of show me, right? Show me a good product. Let me see it work, right? Then I'll trust you. I know Nintendo's products work, right? Because they have a track record. I know Sony's, products work because they have a track record, right? I know Glenn's products work because they have a track record and I own them. But when something doesn't work right off the go, what the hell is it that you're talking about? For hours and hours and hours. That they're too expensive. Yeah, we know that. Oh, we're going to fix it. You're not going to fix it. Unless you're an investor in any of these companies, you're not doing jack squat. But you know what, guys? I am thankful. I am thankful that these people spend their life and waste their life in crap like this because it just gives us plenty of chuckles watching these people, going down this black hole, right, of people losing money and mediocre products and all this stuff. There's companies out there that do the right thing. How come nobody talks about them? Right? Well, because they're too expensive? I mean, would you rather waste $800, $500 on something that doesn't work? Or maybe save up and spend $1,200 on something that actually works? Right? There's plenty of arcade companies that are not mentioned that don't have any drama because, you order them and they come in and they work. And nobody talks about that. You would think that if you're a fan of the hobby, you'd be spending hours talking about that and not the stuff that doesn't work. But then we wouldn't have all this comedy gold. I don't think these people are really, really, that much fans of the games and of retro and of arcades and all that stuff. I think they're more fans of being on camera and giving their opinion so they can be listened to by their peers. Okay, well, that's your hobby, right? But don't pretend it's important. And don't try to tell people that you're making a difference. Because you're not. You're not. The only thing you're doing is making us laugh. You're an entertainer. Deal with it. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.